Yes, I think we are all set. So we come to the 90th verse, which ends, 91st verse, which ends this section. So you have to split up into three parts. One is the Jagat, one is the Jivi, and one is the Ishvara. In that we are already dropped the Jagat for time being, and we are looking at the Jivi, and we're looking at the Stula Sharira of the Jivi. So when we look at the Stula Sharira, then first thing we come to notice here is that from the time of the birth till today we have been eating. So if you are going to eat something, that means it's going to not stay there. It will be consumed and waste product will come. Plus the body gets into decomposition. So he says here, Stulasya Sambhava Jara Maranani Dharmaha. So this is the dharma of eating. Nothing that can be done. So human being puts a tireless effort to retain the body. Nobody wants to become old. So if somebody is called as an uncle or an auntie, a person feels very bad. Or if somebody said that you are above 50, suddenly the mind will recoil and the person feels desperate of not having to age. So what the person can do then is to color his or her hairs or other parts of the body and make it look as young as possible, including the Botox injections and this and that, to uplift the features. But no matter what one does, the Stula, the gross body, has birth, decay and death as its essential properties, which is not one time, it is all the time. All the waking moment, all the sleeping moment, this Stula Sharira is going away. Otherwise, we should be able to fit in the dress what we came. Meaning when the hospital provided us with that a small cloth to cover as an infant, I think that was sufficient enough. But since the food is taken, the body starts growing. So he says, Staulyadayo bahuvidaha shishutadi avastaha. Staulya means a fat accumulation or growing up. So people in their 15 to say 15 years, they look filled up. That is called as Staulya. And it has, and Bahuvidah, different shapes and different sizes, different height, different texture. But we can say, if we look at our children at the age of 15 or even 14, and in girls say around 11 or 12, to the age of 30 or maximum 35, they seem to be in their youth, or seemingly they look good, they look filled up, and their skin looks fresh. After 30 or 35, that freshness starts to diminish. In the same way, Shishutadi Avastaha is also the same. So one is measuring the person by the body, which is continuously decaying. There is no way anybody can say I am not decaying right now. So I had a breakfast. That means that the decay has already happened. So I've refilled it with some solid and liquid and some temperature and the air, vayu, and it occupies the space. So the stomach space, which was empty, is now occupied by the food. Now he says, because of this, the body is named as Varna. Okay, Varna, Ashramadi, Niyama, Buddha, Aramya, Syuhu. So now comes the Varnashrama Dharma. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So now this body is labeled as Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra. And there is Niyama, regulation. And it becomes an order of life. Bahuda, different kinds. Aram, Amayah Syuhu. Ama is putrefaction, is also the cause of disease. The first disease, as soon as the person is born, is hunger. And the last disease to go at death is hunger. And when you say hunger, it is hunger and thirst, water and food. The very first thing the child or the infant does as soon as it's coming out is to start feeding, whether it is a human one or an animal one or a bird or an amphibian or this or that. That's the first thing it does. And the fun part is that is named. And when it named, it undergoes all kind of tribulations because it is now named. And the food what is taken, the digestion is based upon karma. It's not based upon the food. So it has to have ama in it. That means to create ama, you should have vata, pitta, kapha in a different degree. So each one of us, if you take from an Ayurvedic perspective, everybody has a different pitta composition, different vata composition with different kapha composition. And hence the personality is totally different. As far as the body personality goes, based upon his manasika swabhava, the food gets digested. Let's say somebody is from coastal region, his manasika swabhava is something to do with what he loves eating or she loves eating, so it suits. If somebody is from the west coast, and if it's somebody from the east coast, different kind of food, and in the central different kind of food, north is a different kind of food, south is another kind of food. So all of this create numerous diseases, ama, and this ama gets accumulated in all the joints. So the person gets joint pain, and this ama also accumulates itself in the intestine. So he gets intestinal disorders, and that is stomach upset condition is the one which create all kind of diseases, because the vata, pitta, kapha keeps on changing. And because it keeps on changing, they based upon the karma of the past and the current karma added together gives him a new look in terms of the disease. What was not there few minutes ago, he is now having pain or he is having pleasure. So if the digestion has happened, no problem, the person can, that personality can then continue working whatever he is working. But if there is a disorder, then the person cannot work. He has to lie down or go to the hospital or do something. And this is something which is continuous. It doesn't stop. And the last line, because of this sthulasya sambhava, is puja vamana vamana bahumana amukha visheshaha. Puja is worshipping, so people start worshipping that person for having helped or done this or done that or whatever it is. Vamana means showing a lot of credit to that person and giving him honor. Bahumana, Bahu plus Mana. Mana is vanity, Bahu is higher. So he should be gifted in such a way that his pride increases. Mukha Visheshaha. That means it receives all of this kind of treatment, even though it is just a physical body. So the physical body is adored by the person, by himself or herself, and is also adored by people around him or her, and lot of gifts and the worshipping and the honor are provided to that body, which is not even living for more than 4 hours. So all that we are getting as credit. I'm credited with finding this, credited with finding that, or done so well, done so bad, done this, done that, hardly stays for 4 hours. Because then we have to again go back and eat, feed. Without feeding, it's not possible. So you have to again go and feed. If you feed more, you get into diseases. If you feed less, it gets into diseases. If you feed equal, also you get into disease because it is karmically bound. The body is karmically bound. So nothing that can be done by the jivi. So when we call a person jivi, it is only this Sthula Sharira and the Manasika Sharira combination is what it is. And it is also Nirjiva. Without Ishvara, there cannot be the Sthula Sharira nor the Sukshma Sharira. So if I call myself by name as Vilas, I am 100% Nirjiva. Forget going further about calling myself as a husband or a father or something like that. Presently as it stands, I am a Nirjiva Vastu. And people who are transacting with me are also Nirjiva. As long as Ishvara exists, so long I can call myself as Vilas. The moment Ishvara moves away, there is no Vilas. This body is fit to be thrown out without wasting any further time, because it is coming from food. And I cannot maintain this body, no matter how much I try. To maintain the body, I should not eat, but I am eating. So it dies. Now, I can take another view. Let me not eat at all. Then also you will die. So if you eat also, I die. If I don't eat also, I will die. So that is what is my life in real sense. So with that, we finish the first section of the looking at the Annamaya Kosha. Any questions?
So this Annamaya Kosha is having all these Panchendriyas and all that body, and it has got its own life. So when this the what you call Atma, when it is interacting with the Annamaya Kosha, then this becomes what you call it?
Jiva.
Jivi, right?
Correct.
Jiva. And when it is disintegrates, its body is dead. It's just called body.
Correct.
So, who takes that decision to come together or disintegrate? Is it the karma, or it is what do you call karma, or I don't know what is next one.
So there are three things. First starts with Vasana. Vasana creates the need of samsara. So the Panchikarana happens due to Vasana.
So Panchikarana means that this all this our body is because of Panchikarana.
Correct.
That is because of that Vasana.
Yes. And Vasana.
And the shape and all those diseases and all based on the karma.
Yes. And then you get samskara. Purva samskara.
No. See, the thing is, why I am asking this question is, Manava Janma, that is through this body, Panchikarana based this body, this is the great body for achieving moksha.
Correct.
Even if you are Devata, you will not get that moksha unless you come to this, because here, this allows you to make karma here.
Correct. Very correct.
That is the reason my question. Yeah, that is the reason my question is, when you have upper lokas, my understanding, by default, you will have much more luxury there for getting into moksha or just to have a enjoyment. Why it should be only Manava Janma? Not even Pakshi Prani or anything, it's only Manava Janma.
Okay, so let's first dissect this section and see what happens. So this Jivi, which has Atma is bound, and that bound has two extremes. One is complete enjoyment and one is complete deprivation, meaning there is no enjoyment at all. So the below the human realm of existence is only fear and searching for food. Only two things. So there is bhaya, akrosha, and all the other things which arises with it, and ending with anxiety, atanka. So every being you see below an human is filled with atanka. You see a dog, it is in anxiety. You see a cat, it is in anxiety. You see a rat, it is in anxiety. Like that, all the beings, from hell beings, from the naraka to animals, filled with anxiety. That's the end result of it. Now come to the human world of existence. In this particular case, you have an ability to sustain your life for 4 hours without refueling. Whereas in the animal life, The refueling has to happen all the time. So they keep on searching for food. They don't know what is life. They just keep on searching food. Whereas in the human realm of existence, the food cycle is there, but it is having space. So there is a spacing. You eat and then it takes 4 hours for it to completely get exhausted. But there are certain animals. Hold on, yeah.
But Vilas, that is the same. No, that is the same case with lions and tigers.
I was about to talk. I was about to talk about that. Yeah, you exactly pulled the topic what I wanted to tell you about lions and tigers, and there are other animals which can sustain for a long time, including a frog. So I was about to come to that.
Yes. No, almost all the animals have all. See, their gap may not be 4 hours, but they all have some
Sustenance. Yes, it is there, but the
sustenance time depending on their size of the stomach and this one. So it's all meaning it's all proportional. Each one has a habit in which it lives.
Correct.
Just like human beings live in a habit of 4 hours, they all live in a habit.
Yes, absolutely. So they also have that, but there is a difference between humans and those creatures. So let me come to that. So the smallest of the creatures keeps on eating all the time. The biggest of the creatures eat as necessary, or they have a storage capacity, like in the case of lions and tigers and even elephants, and you can take camel and so many others, including frog. They can sustain or they can store it. So there is a storage capacity just like what humans have. They can store the food grains and they can prepare it and eat whenever they want. Same thing is the ability of animals also to store. But there is a difference between the human collection and the animal collection. In the animal collection, what happens is they have to go it at one shot and take it. And after that, they go and relax and keep on churning it out. So let's say a lion will take around 4 to 8 hours for it to, or it can even go for days without food, because it can keep on churning it back, just like what a cow also does. It can keep on churning. But there is this deep-seated anxiety for searching, which is also there in humans, but it is in a different way. You have space. That spacing is not there in any other living organisms, because there is moha. It is much deeper to see how this 1 second. So there is a deeper connection in terms of how the delusion works there, or the moha works there in these lower creatures. Now when we come to the human realm, you have an equal amount of everything, meaning to say there is an equal amount of moha, there is equal amount of raga and dvesha. So the anxiety level is not as much as what you will find in an animal related world or a lower realm of existence. Now when we compare that with a higher level of existence, there is no need for food at all. So they generally survive on amrita. So once the person is born as a deva or whatever category of beings, they don't have to keep on feeding themselves. There ends the need for feeding. And because there is no need for feeding, there is also and there is no womb existence there, so there is no need for copulation also. It's only pleasure, nothing else. So there are two extremes. The animal is one extreme, or the lower realms of existence is one extreme, and the higher level of existence is another extreme. Both are two extremes. So for the lower realm, the papa takes care of it, and in the higher realm, the punya takes care of it. When it comes to human realm, you have both papa and punya, and because of that, you have everything divided into half. So there is a chance for humans to do proper karma, which can either take them to a lower or to the higher, or even liberation. All the three are possible. Whereas in the animal realm of existence, these beings have to necessarily stay by their nature, whatever is their nature. So the dog has its nature, the cat has its nature. I'm not saying that humans don't have their own nature, but humans have different ability than all of these beings. They are bound by their own natural laws of progression. Whereas in the human realm, the progression can just increase exponentially, the way we have done in terms of technology and science and medicine and so many things when compared to past. We have been growing and we've been growing, and it again goes into pralaya. Again the human beings find something or the other, and he starts mechanizing, automating and all that. That is not possible in the animal realm of existence or in the lower realm of existence. This is possible in a higher realm of existence. Above human, there are the devas can have much better technology than what humans possess. So that is possible. So we have the best of both the worlds. Being a human, you have the aspect of the deva, and you also have the aspect of the animal. So even if you look at the brain, you have, it's called a triune brain. So you have three things there in that brain. So when we look at that, we can find there is an evolution side of it, but there is also total intelligence side of it. So you have a reptilian brain because it has all the basic qualities, and then there is this frontal cortex, which makes many interesting things than just the aspect of being fearful, because that is where we have a lot of what we can say intelligence or higher intelligence stored in the frontal cortex. Whereas the reptilian side of it is just a basic instinct kind of brain. So why we have these three divisions in the limbic system, we have no idea. But what we can understand is that it has the higher qualities, the middle quality, which is the human, and the lower quality, which is the reptilian kind. Even the child, when it is or infant, before it becomes an infant, in the fetus, initial looks like a reptilian shape, and then only it starts changing. So these are the aspect what even science is trying to unearth, to see that we have a different brain itself than the normal what we can find. So looking at that, we find that this Atma, which is in all of it, is split it into three parts: one higher, one middle, one lower. The middle one is the one what we are called as human, and the lower one is all the lower beings, and the higher one is the devas. So depending upon which one is predominant, that person, so-called person, Jivi, starts exhibiting that. So to answer to your question, why human life is such an important thing, is because you have three different kinds of brains in one, and you have Papa and Punya also at the same time, and you can work out to come out of the papa and punya itself and get liberated, which is not possible in the higher, nor it is possible in the lower.
So best vehicle to moksha.
Yes. So we have, if you look at the three parts of the brain, one is a reptilian stuff, which the basic brain, and the limbic system, which includes amygdala and hippocampus and all that, which is what you use most of the time, and the neofrontal cortex. That is where different kinds of spiritual experiences happen.
Now I keep one science in one side and this
Spirituality.
so-called the other side. From that angle, when I see this is the best vehicle to travel to moksha.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's a lot of ajnana is injected here. Even I have done a lot of sadhana, including you have done a lot of sadhana, for example. You are not able to recall what all you have done. Suddenly, sometime it comes. So instead, in this design, had we got that opportunity from the day one to recall our sadhana, at least whatever we have done, continuation would have been much easy. But now we have to struggle all the way from maybe from the beginning, and we may get lost in that, and a lot of attraction to this real world. So called scientific advancements. It makes all our quality of life much better. But our mind is more inclined this side than spirituality. At least 50% of the population of this world is inclined to spirituality. It would have been different. It is not even 5%, very less. Why? The whole system is designed like this.
The whole system is designed in that way is very difficult to answer, because that is how it is. That's a better way to put it. Rather than knowing why it is like that, we have to see how to come out of that. See, now in my case, if all the scripture says that if your mind is completely calm, you can see all your past lives. Every scripture says that. Now the whole quest is to make the mind calm. That is, the chittas have to be made calm. Now then the question comes, why it is not calm from the beginning? There is no answer to that, because it's all karmically driven. So then the question comes, how did karma come to be? Then we say, no, purva samskaras are there, and that's the reason karma came. Now that doesn't answer to the question again. So people would then ask, how did this samskara come to be? Then they say vasana. And then the question comes, how did vasana come to be? Then there is no answer.
Yeah, I got it. I think we use this one, jnana, everything as anadi. Anadi means we don't know when it started.
Exactly. So the better word to use is anadi. So they always write anadi kala. That means there is no point in going back and seeing how it happened. Now you can see how to get out of it. That's a better way, rather than finding out the root cause of it. Meaning saying that, let me find out. How did it ever happen? How did I first start? What is the basic thing I started? So there won't be any answer to that.
Because now the world is, this Kali Yuga, more and more attractive because of all these scientific inventions.
Correct.
Like in India also, if you don't do any work, if you are poor, you will get all your grocery free home and enjoy. You don't have to do anything.
Correct.
But that is attachment. You are attached to that.
Yes. See.
So it make me to attach to something which I feel that is much better compared to putting some effort in the spirituality direction.
Right.
I'm talking generally for human beings. That's the reason many of these human beings, more than 95%, they are still in this so-called panchikarana. In Bahya Jagat only. That means your body based, your beauty, your your intellect and all that.
Very true. That's all.
And this science is also so advanced to sometimes to say there is nothing called Atma. Don't worry, you just be here.
No, because see, I'll tell you what. See, in science, consciousness is in the brain, because that is where they can see the neurons firing. So when we call something as neuroplasty, or when we try to look at the neurons and study the neural network and arrangement of how they are talking from one to another, that is from the left side of the brain, how it is connected to the right side of the brain and all that, what we can find out is that the brain is creating this electrical impulses, which is chitta. So the mind exists in the brain, and that is true. If you are a very scientific person, you will not be able to find
mind is existing in brain, or mind is a heart region, right?
no, that correct. See, now if you cut open the heart, you will not find a thing called as mind.
Yeah.
Right. So what you will see when you put somebody on a MRI or MRI scanner and then put his brain to study, you will find the pattern, and you will also find the rays, the alpha and the gamma and the theta and all that. You will find the waves. So there is this electrical impulses happening in the brain. And electrical impulses happen because of energy. So that shows that the brain is creating energy. So the brain becomes something called consciousness. So when we say conscious, it means that it is in the brain.
Brain is working, correct?
Brain is working. So we say brain alive, brain dead, and heart is a organ which will work on its own. So it doesn't require brain to function. So even though the person is brain dead, his heart is still functioning, or his or her heart is still functioning. So they will wait for the heart to stop, because brain is not able to give any further input to the heart what it should do. So without any input from brain, after a few hours, heart will stop functioning, and then the person is declared dead. So what it clearly shows is that the consciousness is in the brain, number one, and number two, mind is itself in the brain. So when we say why don't you use your mind, scientific way of looking at it is why don't you use your brain, and we also use the word why don't you use your brain, and we also use another term called as there is a lot of gray matter, which is what is called as intelligence, buddhi. So everything is related to brain. So we also say that he is such a brainy person. Medhavi, see, even the word, Sanskrit word Medhavi, Medha is brain. So when we say Medhavi, it means that the brain is shining. So the scientific apparatus generally talks about brain, and when you do the neural network or default mode network, it's a very interesting field to study. You'll find that there is a default setting already, and nobody knows how did default setting come into existence, but there is a possibility of changing the default itself, and that will create a psychedelic experience. So that means your psyche. So psyche means mind. So modifying your mind is what is called a psychedelic, the English word or whatever the Latin word for that. So then if we do that, we'll see science talks about consciousness in terms of brain. It doesn't accept that consciousness is something different and the brain is something different, and mind is part of consciousness. So when we say happy minds or something like that, what you are trying to do is that there is a what is from the amygdala, you get this dopamine and other kind of chemicals. So that secretion is the one makes you happy. So we call it as happy hormone, because that is what you can really see happening in the brain. So that is how science would really look at it. So the spirituality and science differ in this way. Even though both are the nearest we can take is law of thermodynamics, and that is where we can see consciousness, because it talks about energy and matter, which is Purusha and Prakriti. So if you study the law of thermodynamics and the first, second, third, fourth law of thermodynamics, then you will be able to recognize it comes very closer to what is spirituality. But if you take any other thing, it doesn't come anywhere near, because there's a different way of doing it, which is right. Because if you put any apparatus to verify, you can only verify in the brain. We cannot verify anywhere else. So all the inventions a human being has made is due to his brain, not due to anything else. So when the mind, what we are talking, that is mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham, what it really translates in science is that mano is part of the brain, buddhi is part of again brain, ahankara is part of the personality, which is again created in the brain, and then chitta is the neuron, which is again in the brain. So all the four are in the brain. So you have a right brain, which is totally open in every given field, and left brain is a very closed one. So the compartmentalization of everything, and logic and reasoning and identification, all that happens in the left brain. And in the right brain, it is more to do with emotions and feeling compassion, kindness and all that. So that is what is in there in the right brain. So people say you don't use right brain, you only use left brain. Okay, if somebody is a poet or an artist or a singer or whatever it is, he is using more of the right brain than the left brain. And if somebody is very reasoning oriented person, very logical, very scientific temper, and accounting and keeping track of everything, calendar driven, meticulous, intelligent, and then focused, and all of that, it comes from the left side of the brain. So the default mode network, what is there, connects both of them. So depending upon which is being used, you get a synapse, and based upon that, it is going to trigger what connection it should have. So in the default connection, whatever the person is habituated, that is the one what the person will be showing. So in that way, you cannot really identify what is rajas and what is tamas and what is sattva in that, because it's just a connection between the right side of the brain with the left side of the brain. So this is what science would do, which is correct. If you apply the five senses mathematics and then look at it from a very prism kind of structure, where the light refracts and then shows the 7 color, which is true, but white light has 7 colors. But what we are trying to say is that there was never a 7 color in the first place. It is the illusion of the light which shows 7 colors. That is what spirituality would make it to be. That is Jagat. The 7 colors is Jagat. This white light is the Purusha or the Ishvara. And the Jivi which is watching it and is actually captivated by this white light turning into 7 colors. So that is what Jivi is all about. Because of that light refraction, the 7 colors are there. It is not that the 7 colors existed in the light. It's not that 7 colors never existed in the light. It's not that 7 colors is part of light. It's not that 7 colors is not part of light. So when we try to do a scientific temper on this, what we find is that white light has 7 colors, and the 7 colors is what we call as Jagat. And the person who is watching it is the Jivi. The light which has come is Ishvara. So now what we are trying to find out is Ishvara. In science you will never find Ishvara, because you will never find even the Jivi. So this is how it is. So Vivek,
Yeah, see, we are talking knowledge, jnanam, but this we have this Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira, those things, because all those things are helping initially. Later on, you are without these two. So the jnanam is something called, I think, say some Brahma's wife, Saraswati. Saraswati means a flow of knowledge, right?
correct.
So that is already, it is that inside in this, or we have to borrow that from somewhere.
No,
Because
it is
jnana
there.
is needed.
It is there. It has to be rediscovered. The whole problem is how do you rediscover the knowledge what you have?
It's already inside, right?
It is already inside everyone.
Everyone.
And
It
that
says, na jiv me madhumattamam
yes,
karnabhyam bhuri mishrita.
it is there. In every human being, it is there. The knowledge is already there. You just have to unearth that knowledge. That is why the reason it is called as Nididhyasana. You have to bring out the Nidhi, which is already there. The treasure is
Yeah,
already there.
if that comes out to the external world, you are a really mad person.
Yes, because the Jagat is
Because
gone.
what you talk is, you will talk yourself.
Correct, but the thing is, see, now we are talking 7 colors. So people are very happy when you talk about 7 colors, because there is something that can be identified. So we call it as Vibgyor. So there is 7 colors. So there is no problem. People can see the prism, there is no problem. But people cannot understand how light came. We have to only believe that light exists. But how did it
Source
come?
of light.
What's the source of light? That we don't know. So we are happy with seeing the prism, and we are happy with seeing the 7 colors. That's all. But we know who we are, the light. But it has to be unearthed. That's a problem. We are so focused on that 7 colors that we forget that it is the light which is bringing the 7 colors.
Yeah, see, up to our body, Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira, we understand. Because we can experience that. What we cannot experience is, for example, we have Earth. And outside of Earth, you have all these Navagrahas. Then you have Surya. Then you have galaxies. Then you have so many things. That we are not able to understand. In this spirituality, that is not covered, right?
It is covered, but you require a Divya Chakshu to see all of that. That is the problem. So you will get a Divya Shrota, Divya Chakshu, and that is what that Bhadram Karani is all about.
Yeah. Again and again it brings, see, Vishwarupa Darshana, yes, I can see everything. But I can experience myself, that is me.
Yes.
But the Jagat, what is there outside of us, it is a Panchikarana. But there also there is some energy which makes all these things to really perfectly work.
Right.
That means that Jagat is also a GV, means what do you call? So the Surya Mandala, for example. That is also something similar to what GV, because it has got its own energy, right?
See, everything is made out of energy only, like the light. But knowing the light is one thing, not knowing the light is another thing. That is why Shankara said it is an illusion, Maya.
My question is like this. Fully understood this Panchikrita Prapancha. But that in that Prapancha, there is some, see, moon, it doesn't have its own energy, it is coming from sun. But in the sun, there is energy. Like what I have Atma within me, sun has got its own energy inside.
Correct.
And it is coming out of that.
Right.
So that energy and what is there within me, both Atma, for example, I consider that is also Atma. Inside what is there in my body is also Atma. Okay, it's also heat up and all that.
Correct.
And we are dependent on, because this human body depends on Surya, but Surya is not dependent on me.
Right.
Now the question is there a separate source, or both are same?
Both are same.
Okay, now both are same energy, which means Surya is also a sentient.
Yes, in that way, yes.
Is there Surya is getting energy from somewhere else, or it is already there, like a, I know all pervading, like galaxy, there is something beyond that, right?
No, all of that what we see is part of 5 elements only. So what spirituality directly says is that you require to have a divya chakshu to see it. See, with our this default mode network DMN, which is already conditioned, you cannot see it. You require a different kind of experience called a psychedelic. Then you can see all of it. Whatever you are asking, you will get an answer to it, because it will bypass the default network. So you have to remove that. See, the sun, what we see is not the way it is. Okay, the earth, what we see is not the way it is, and every scripture says that. See, example, Madhvacharya as a child, okay, somebody comes to their home asking for payment, which his father owes, and the father doesn't have money. So what this Madhvacharya does is that he will collect the, what is that, tamarind seeds, and able to convert that into gold and gives it to that person. And he says, your father did not owe so much, but he says, why don't you keep it? And he goes away. So what he did is that he created metallurgy, or he would have created something else to make that happen. So that is exactly what he could do. Now the question comes, why everybody cannot do it? Don't everybody has the same energy? Yes, everybody has the same energy. Does everybody has the same skill? Yes, they all have the same skill. But why it is not shown? Then we say because of karma. That is hidden. So if you have divya chakshu and divya shrota, divya grana, divya jivha and all that, all the 5 senses in divya, that is beyond this normal 5 senses, it is possible to change the 5 elements in a different combination. So the moon doesn't remain as moon, the sun doesn't remain as sun, the earth doesn't remain as earth. It will all be totally different. It will come to life. So that is the reason why Shankara uses highly about Maya. Maya midam akilam hitva Brahma padam tvam pranit. What is that? I forgot. Sorry, pranisha vinitva. So we need to get rid of the impurities which is covering this up. That means the default mode network has to be removed, or rather suppressed or bypassed, or whatever that can be called. If we can do it, then you are in a psychedelic experience. That's a different world altogether. And then you come to see the Maya of this Jagat, because this is not true, that is true. That is what it is all about. So now how do you go there is what this one book is. Otherwise you have to take drugs, you have to take LSD to immediately go into that state. You don't want to take any drugs, then you have to do this.
So any drug is, artificial, it will take you there, and then after that it will drop you. Then
Yes.
you will not have any rasa to enjoy further.
Actually,
you should gain that on your own.
yes. So the removal, not removal, the suppressing or bypassing of the default mode network through LSD or any other kind of drug is 6 months. That means you will live in that state for 6 months, unaware of what is happening on the outside world. So after 6 months,
Yeah.
you again come back and you don't like to live this life. So again, you have to have an LSD effect, which is what I had shared that video some time ago. Because
Yeah.
when we come here, that is what is required. When you come to the subtle body experience, you require LSD kind of effect. Otherwise, it becomes totally intellectual knowledge. Like, in the case of Lata, she keeps on talking about her room is lit by some light and golden color and some other color and some kind of sages descending and all that. That's all part of the psychedelic experience. So she is having psychedelic experience.
Yes.
Lata, you can speak. Otherwise, it is looking like I and Bhatt are having conversation.
I'm sitting here and smiling from the time Bhatt was asking those questions. Whether the sun is same as us or earth is same as us and all that. So that's true. That somehow it got unlocked. Those lights. I will tell you how it got unlocked. I remember very well. So one day I was having some irresistible urge to go and gaze at the sun in one of the evenings. In our balcony, that the sun is so huge when it goes down. So I don't know. I somehow I had a feeling I should go and gaze at it. So I went and stood in the balcony, was gazing, and you cannot gaze for a long time. You automatically will turn your head away. And then after gazing for some time, I walked out. And then I started seeing that multicolored stuff. It was so beautiful, and it was there traveling with me. In empty space also you can see it. And you can see it in the white wall or any color wall, or you simply walk, you just see it is there everywhere traveling. So I just wondering what is that stuff about. And that is the one which got transformed into that blue light and whatever, which I keep seeing. And then there are many other lights. Now I think it is kind of, I'm not fascinated by it anymore, and I don't look for it. And sometimes, and it was there, and I thought, okay, after, just because I gazed at the sun, it is something else, the photons or whatever got lit up in my eye, and I'm seeing the picture is what I thought. And I forgot about it. And then one day I went into the bathroom. The light was not on. And I was surprised to see one full blue circle with one pink dot in between. And I was wondering, what is this? Something is wrong with my eye, or what is that? I switched on the light. So then again I forgot about it. And then when I was lying down to sleep, you switch off all the lights, right? The ceiling is fully lit up with that blue light and with the pink thing in the center. And again I was fascinated by it. So then you close your eyes also, you see it. You open your eye, also see it. You focus anywhere, you see it. You can see it in the empty space. It is there always with you. And then all the others started, all these kinds of different colors, not different colors. And one day when I woke up, full ceiling is lit up. Now normally I used to see this blue color, then it changed, it was like moon colored stuff. So I keep seeing it even now also. As soon as you wake up, you see all that. In addition, you keep seeing the flute music I used to hear. So I used to wonder, every day in the morning somebody wakes me up and I keep hearing this flute music. And I used to wonder if some fan makes some sound, right? So I'm just imagining that sound, I thought. So I got up and I moved from room to room. And then I also was thinking that I am imagining it. And I really thought it is flute music. When I went to Trivandrum also, I was hearing it. Then it can't be that I'm hearing it from somewhere else. The same music. So these, and then I hear somebody, but it is not very clear. But I used to hear somebody chanting something, but it is not at all clear to me what people are chanting. But the chorus I can hear. And I have not heard for a long time, but then recently 1 or 2 days back I heard. I continuously, it will keep on. You cannot shut it off. It is there. From somewhere it comes. All these sounds and then sights and all that stuff, and the saints and I still remember. Then before Vilas was telling I should go into Buddhist teachings to go further. Then 3 days continuously, I had a vision of a lot of sages wearing one saffron cloth. In the top, they don't have anything. They're standing and watching me and waiting for me to do something. 3 days continuously, I saw that vision. From where, I don't know. It just pops up. So all that, I think maybe all this, if you take drugs also, you may be getting all this, I think.
Yes, you'll get
Nowadays,
that.
I'm not here. Yeah.
Sorry, Lata. Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
So now, and there are a lot of beings also I have seen. That is also I used to see. Nowadays I don't see it, but then I see one big door or a palace or I don't know. It can't be a human one. It is a big, huge one, and a golden color palace, and some being standing in front. And I have a feeling that being is waiting for me. It's a huge one, very tall. So nowadays I don't see, but always I used to see this kind of vision. And one time I saw one sage sitting, and a side view of the sage, sitting in some place with forest, trees, and sitting there, not looking at me. I'm just seeing very vividly. I see that person again. I can recognize that way, that vivid. So like that, there are so many visions. And then the other thing is this patterns, beautiful patterns of colors, and it is vibrant and it moves. It is not that something you just stationary. You could feel that it is alive. And I will be mesmerized, and I sit. When I sit for meditation, I'll see all this, and I'll be mesmerized and sitting, lost in it. But nowadays, I see only space or sky, or that only that. I don't see any other visions very regularly. But before I open, as soon as I close my eyes, I see something or the other. Nowadays it is one. So because of that, I wanted to get rid of that. So then I started focusing on the navel. Then I started focusing on my heart, and then slowly I just, if I close now, I concentrate on my third eye. Then I can see the sky. The sky is what I keep seeing, space.
Good.
So that's the thing. So I think this is this experience you all get when you take drugs, or maybe you get drunk. I don't know.
No, this is the experience what you get when you shut down the DMN, default mode network. As long as that default mode exists, you will not experience anything.
Yeah, correct. So
So
yeah, and then actually, when you concentrate on your heart, is when you feel that expansive feeling.
right.
And I think I started seeing space after I concentrated on my heart. You naturally go. You don't have to concentrate anywhere. So when I close your eyes, it naturally goes somewhere, and you focus there.
Yes, that is true. See, Lata, even you.
And then
Yeah, go ahead. Complete. You complete.
yeah. And then one beautiful thing which I was really, I think I ate your head for that to find out what that is, because I was seeing blue and blues and blue everywhere, blue, full, without any blemish. and so vibrant and blue. Then you send me the picture of that lake, exactly the same color you see everywhere. That.
Yeah.
So that is something which you make your mind tranquil. And I recently read there is one book from CM on meditation. So I had this book earlier also, I have read it, but I read it in a very fast way, so maybe I have missed many things. But he has written in that meditation, there are a lot of questions people ask on meditation. So most of the answers are there in that book. So there he mentioned that if you focus on your third eye for some time, you will see a blue color. And if you see the blue color and you concentrate on it, your mind will naturally become tranquil.
Yes.
So, correct. So that, and then that is why I am attracted towards the blue. I was wondering why I am attracted. Then it makes your mind calm. So naturally, if you see it.
It not only does that, actually,
Yes.
if you see the sky also, you have the same effect.
Correct.
See, especially for Bhatt, if he wants to experience, what he has to do is that on a early morning when there is no clouds and if it is pure blue sky, just this is for Bhatt and Padma Shri. You want to have the same psychedelic experience of what Lata had. You just have to stare, keep on staring. You should not blink your eyes. You should stare at the sky for 10-15 minutes. Okay, you shouldn't blink it. So first, you can't do for 10 minutes, so you have to start with 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and keep on increasing it. In few days time, you'll be able to see it for 10-15 minutes. Then you sleep or you just lie down watching the sky, and you'll see yourself moving along with that. And you wait for few minutes, then you become the sky. And then you come down, you'll start seeing everything blue. And your mind will be so tranquil that then you'll start seeing whatever Lata is saying. It's a very simple experiment. But don't anticipate, meaning 20 minutes over, so I think I should be able to see that. You should just lie down, eyes open, eyes wide open, just observing the sky. After few minutes, you become the sky. You will come to know that you have become the sky. And then you go down. Then you will have fun. You will start getting lot of visions every day. Or you take LSD, you will get the same experience.
So you're inducing take LSD.
So without
this experience is called Aham Brahmasmi experience, or this is called the celestial world experience.
no, after this you'll start getting the celestial experience. So you will have Divya Shrota, Divya Chakshu and all that. So you'll
Okay.
no longer.
Now in your mind you have that Purnatva in the mind.
Yes.
Later on it will go to the
Yes.
next level. Okay.
It will go to next level automatically. Like Lata is hearing to the flute, so you will hear different sounds and different voices, different kind of chanting, different messages, different mansions, different people, different sages, and different realms of existence, and all of that. And then the interest towards
So you are moving this prapancha to another loka.
yes, correct, and that is the reason it is called Maya.
Maya loka.
And all is there in the mind.
Everything is there in the
But it is
mind.
not dream. But it is not dream.
It's
Because
not
you
dream. I'm
are
awake. No.
witnessing it.
I am awake. No, so I am awake. It's not a dream. So one thing which I couldn't know whether it's a dream or a actually what I have seen, because it felt like I woke up, then I thought it's only 2 o'clock or something, then I slept. Then I felt somebody knocked, real knock like that I heard, somebody knocking on the door. Then I woke up and then I said, who's knocking on the door in the night at 3 o'clock in the morning? Then I thought, okay, maybe I dreamt, and then I slept. Then also this blue, I slept or I don't know, this blue color screen came, and in between one circle opened, I still remember, and then all these symbols were going by, Om, and then even cross I have seen, this trident, and then this Rishi form, all in moon colored thing. It was going fast. I don't know what it was trying to show. And in that dream or in that state, I was thinking, at that time we had started a discussion with Vilas. I should ask Vilas, what is this I'm seeing? And then they said, okay, now you won't see anything. And then that circle closed and only the blue color remained. So that's one thing, which I don't know whether it's a dream or it's actually I was awake and then I saw it. That I cannot differentiate actually.
So
And another vivid experience was this when I had those sleep paralysis. I am not hesitant to call it as a Kundalini experience. But that sleep paralysis, that's something which really I keep wondering. I really saw this green thunderbolts going up my spine continuously. So you cannot see your spine, right? You cannot see anything, but then still I saw it really. So once you get all these things, then you will really feel, but none of this is Brahman.
yeah, that is the unfortunate thing.
Yes. Oh,
This is antariksha. This is antariksha feeling, right?
No, this is out of your five senses feeling.
Out of my sense. That's called antariksha, right?
No, that is not antariksha. Actually, this is all divya. It's better to use the word divya because
Yeah.
it is not same.
This is then divya chakshu. What Sanjay Uvacha, na?
Yes, that's correct.
You
Same.
want the divya chakshu to experience.
Not only experience,
Yeah,
but she's able to see it.
I'm seeing it. I'm not feeling it. I'm seeing it.
So she's
I'm really, whatever I told, I am really seeing it. If I'm a good artist, I could draw and show you.
Mhm.
Padmashri, if she sees, I'm sure she will be able to draw it nicely.
yeah, she is an artist, so she can draw it. Or rather,
Yeah, but
yeah, go ahead.
yes,
Yeah, Lata, go ahead.
but none of it is Brahman. But it doesn't get you anywhere seeing all this vision.
Mhm.
It will.
Lata, you can tell your daughter she can draw it also.
But how do I convey it to her?
No language to convey.
No, in case if Padma Shri were to have this vision, just like she has drawn near her workstation, I think her house will be filled with all of these.
Yeah, correct. If you see some of CM's videos, YouTube videos, he is also a good painter. So he has painted many stuff. I can relate to it when I see it. It looks like some colorful stuff, but some of it not similar to what I see, but then somewhat similar. So he keeps drawing those paintings. It is not that it is displayed, but when he's sitting in that room, it is put. So I observe those. So, and whatever I am seeing, the blue light, those colors, is exactly explained in Lahari Mahashaya's autobiography.
Yes, that is correct.
When I read it, I was so fascinated by it. And he also written in Krishna has a peacock feather on top of his head. It is just depicting what is that stuff which you see in your third eye. So it is just showing that it is active with that peacock feather. It looks like that, a peacock feather only. Okay, but then none of it is Brahman.
Yes, you have to immediately make it as neti, neti, neti. Otherwise, you are going to get caught up with that.
I got caught up for 2-3 years with this film. I was seeing and enjoying, and I was thinking that I have got some special thing which nobody has got, and all that I was thinking. But it is not. None of it is Brahman.
Correct. Good.
Very nice. Yeah.
So time to stop.
So with this Panchakrita Deha is over, now Sukshma Sharira, right?
Yes,
From
we will.
tomorrow.
Yeah, from tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Nice experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tata. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.